Welcome back everyone. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the best budget Android phones of 2021. Now these range, some are newer, some are older, but one thing they have in common is that they are all linked down in the description below. So you can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now starting off, probably my favorite somewhat budget Android phone of this year. Now these are, again, this was a flagship from 2019, but it's still very relevant, and I think it is one of those phones that I look back to, and it was a flagship of flagships, and it still is. It's the Samsung Galaxy S10. This device is a killer device in so many different ways. The only thing that even is dated about it is the fact that it's probably not going to get, probably maybe another like 2 versions of software, but other than that, this is a very killer device. It has so much capability, has a lot going for it. The screen of this thing is beautiful. Hole punch display. I mean, this thing still has probably one of the best panels out there. Fingerprint sensor in the display, triple camera setup on the back. And this is one of the best triple camera setups still, even, a few years later. 4K 60 on the back, 4K 60 on the front as well. And the performance of this phone is still great. Like I mentioned, it's getting One UI 4, which is amazing. This is going to be one of the first Android phones from Samsung that's going to be getting that 4th version of software. So I'm really happy to see that. This phone is amazing. USB-C, headphone jack, and micro SD card slot. Bro, this phone is a crazy phone in my opinion, and definitely one of the phones you need to keep on your radar, and I would probably recommend you to pick up as well. Now the second phone I would recommend in the same type of speed is the Google Pixel 4a. Now this phone is a brand new phone. You can pick it up probably in the used market as well, and I've seen a couple deals where I think it's been less than 300, but brand new it's 350. And like I mentioned, I think this is a very, very good phone as well. Now, I've talked about this phone a lot. I've done a lot of comparisons and all this stuff, so you may have already seen them. But this is another one of those phones that honestly, if you're going to use a phone for anything, and if you need to use a brand new phone, this is one of those devices that you may just be able to go pick up and use for several years. This is not a phone that you buy now and you just forget about or you don't feel like you have to use anymore. This is a phone that you can use forever and have a really good time using it. Again, it may not be the perfect phone for everyone, but the camera's great, the performance is great. It doesn't feel extremely premium, but the price tag is super competitive, and I am in love with this phone as well. Now the third phone, may come to a shocker to some of you, is actually the OnePlus 7 Pro. And this is a phone that, in my opinion, when it came out, shocked me, and it probably shocked everyone because it truly was a budget flagship phone. Something kind of like a Google Pixel 5, but not really. The OnePlus 7 Pro, the indent that it had in the whole entire market is much bigger than what probably any other phone had of 2019 in my opinion. Now this phone again isn't perfect. It doesn't have the craziest amount of features all around the board. It lacks things like IP certification, expandable storage, obviously things like that. But the speed of this phone, the capability of this phone, the 90Hz refresh rate, the pop-up camera, the lack of a hole punch display or bezels or anything like that made this phone so future-proofed, and in my opinion kind of disrupted the phone market, and in fact probably disrupted OnePlus as well, because when you look at a OnePlus 9 and you look at the OnePlus 7 Pro, visibly the OnePlus 7 Pro looks like a better phone. And whenever I did anything with this phone, even now, up until even comparing it to the OnePlus 9 Pro, this phone is still extremely surprising. It may not be as fast as those phones, it may not be as good as the typical person would say, but it is a killer phone, and I'm in love with this device. And I'd probably recommend you, if you were to pick up a phone in 2021, the OnePlus 7 Pro may be one of those devices, and this is one of the few devices on this list that can actually be custom ROMmed. So if you don't like the software, if OnePlus does something dumb in the future, which they might actually do, and probably limit the amount of software, something like that, or put Oppo software on here, at least you're comfortable knowing you can probably custom ROM this thing if there's support of this thing in the future, which it probably will be. So that's that one. Now finally, the Samsung Galaxy S20 FE. This is one of those devices that I'm also in love with. I think the Samsung Galaxy S20 could also probably be thrown in here. Now this isn't like a budget phone, but this is one of those Android phones where I'm like, man, this is the best deal out there. This probably the Galaxy S20 is more of a better deal, but the S20 FE, for the price tag that it was and for the price in the used market, this is a very good phone, and I'm really, really happy to talk about this one. Now when I got it, I didn't really get the hype. I was like, well, why don't you just buy a used Samsung Galaxy S20? But after buying it, if you're comparing brand new prices, this is a very good priced, Samsung phone for a brand new device. And again, I have a lot of respect for Samsung for putting this device out there and really making people more comfortable of buying a budget phone. Samsung was doing some really weird stuff. I don't know what they were doing. They didn't drop us S20e, so I guess the S20 FE was the closest thing we can get, and I love this phone as well. So those are some of my best, I guess, budget tier Androids. Not budget tier, but cheaper Androids than like flagship devices. If you guys want to pick them up, like I mentioned, links are down in the description. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Hit the like button if you guys enjoyed the video, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.